Thank you for helping me with my black eye, Jingles. It's already starting to feel much better.
It's no problem at all, my friend. It will be a while before the swelling goes down and the black clears up, but if it's not stinging as much, then I'm grateful for that.
Jingles, you mentioned something earlier about movies and self-confidence.
Yes, I've been working on restoring some films that were found in our school's attic. It's been a long and tedious process, but they are finally done. Bunsen and I just finished the end of the second reel-to-reel yesterday. Your father really has some marvelous equipment in his workroom. I'm so grateful that he trusts us enough to use it. As to the films, though, they are about self-confidence and attitudes towards life in general.
What do you mean, attitudes towards life, Jingles?
Well, let's take your situation, Lazar. Here you have a kid who is popular and well-liked, but he's really leading two lives, the one he shows to the world and the one he shows to you, such as earlier when he gave you that black eye for no reason. Because of this situation, your attitudes towards the situation is that because he's so well-liked, nobody will believe you if you tell them the truth about Fletcher. This attitude cripples you and makes you think that there's nothing you can do about the situation. By doing nothing, this problem with Fletcher will not end. Day in and day out, you'll be living in fear. However, there is a flip side to this coin, Lazar.
A flip side?
Yes, one you haven't considered very much yet. We've talked a little about it already, about me accompanying you to the school administrator as a witness to the attack. Because I saw him hit you, and because of my good standing with the school and everyone there, I can be an ally for you. Based on this, if you believe in yourself and what's right in ending this mess with Fletcher, well, if you believe you can overcome what's happening to you, then you'll be able to overcome this horrible mess. Believe in yourself, Lazar. Believe in your friends and the adults around you. Have faith that good will triumph over evil, and with all the support you have backing you up, you will prevail.
It all sounds great, Jingle. What if, after, Fletcher gives me another black eye? Or worse?
Let me ask you a very direct question, Lazar. What would be worse, getting another black eye, or living each day for the rest of the school year with the same fear you have now? What would hurt more, the black eye, or living every day in fear?
I see your point, Jingles. I can't go on living like this.
Indeed you do, Lazar. Indeed you do. While the full impact of this situation settles in, I'll get the first reel rolling. Bunsen! Do you have that reel loaded yet? You do? No, we don't need any popcorn. We're not at the picture show. Just roll the film, please. No, I don't want any mints. Okay, I don't want any junior mints. I know they are great, Bunsen, but please, just roll the film.
Marvin, quiet, please.
Oh.
Shh. Come in here, please. I'm in the dining room.
What's up?
Alice is sick again. Dr. Thomas is here now.
What's the matter with her?
Oh, I don't know. She got sick at the office and had to come home in a taxi.
Well, can't I do something, Mom? Can't I?
I don't know. I just don't know. It seems like there's always something. Oh, there you are, Doctor. How is she?
What's the matter with her?
Well, we'll have to find out. A badly upset stomach. No fever. Keep her quiet and make her rest. Then bring her to the office in a week for a full checkup.
Oh, she won't want to do that, Doctor. She's not doing well in her work. Lost a chance at a promotion last week. Oh, she wouldn't want to stay home to rest.
She lost a promotion?
Yes, it went to another girl.
Oh. How did she take it? What was her attitude?
Well, she was disappointed, of course. She hadn't been feeling very well and couldn't do her best work. Her attitude was dejected.
Attitude? Does attitude have anything to do with Alice being sick?
Well, it could have everything to do with it. A great many of us have attitudes that often result in illness.
You mean a healthy guy like me could get sick from an attitude like, say, like a fella's not making the team?
Yes, that's what I mean, Marv. There are attitudes about many things that could cause illnesses. Why, if you could see some of the patients that come into my office. A couple of weeks ago, I remember, well, let's call him John. John has headaches, very bad headaches, and there's no primary physical cause for them that I can find. He just worries a lot and has headaches. Or there's, well, call her Mary. Although Mary is seldom very ill, she has indigestion. No food allergies, no fevers. But Mary is afraid. I'm not sure yet of what. Or let's take the case of, call him Joe. He has what we call a tic. Joe's case is complicated, one for a specialist. But like probably half of my patients, he suffers from worry or attitude problems.
Well, how can an attitude make you sick? How does a fella? How did Alice get sick?
Let's think, Marv. I can see Alice working in her office, thinking about that promotion she knows is due one of the girls. But who will get the promotion? Well, Alice will, of course. She has counted on it. She's determined to get it. But what if she fails? How can she explain her failure? What will people think? Alice was worried about failing. And being worried, she was tense and made mistakes. But each mistake made her still more tense until she made herself sick. You see now how it works, Marv?
Wow. You mean worrying about failing can actually make you fail and make you sick?
That's right, Marvin.
Then Alice isn't really sick.
Oh, yes, she is. And don't you forget that. Alice is going to need care and time and lots of help to get well.
But she'd have got the promotion if she hadn't...
Not necessarily. But she could do her best toward getting it. You see, if Alice realized earlier what was happening, she could take a much healthier attitude. She could see this particular opening as, well, as Marv says, as one chance to play on the team for a while. Then she could find out just what her chances were. And for that matter, whether this was a promotion she really wanted. Whether she wanted to make this team. She could start by getting the facts. With the facts of her situation, she could make her plans in relation to those facts. If she knew that she was doing her particular job well, she could plan for a chance to do even better things. Then she could carry out her plan with a broader perspective.
Perspective?
Sure. You know, see the problem in relation to your life. After all, that promotion wasn't the only thing she wanted in this world, and very likely not the most important thing for her. So why worry about it in advance, or feel a complete failure afterward? If people would just remember the 3 steps to a healthy attitude. 1, get the facts about what's worrying you. 2, make your plan in relation to those facts. And 3, carry out your plan. That way you gain a perspective that will make your attitude better, make you feel better. Well, I've lectured long enough. I must get along.
I'll see you to the door, Dr. Thomas.
All right. So long, Marvin.
Goodbye, Doctor.
I wouldn't worry too much about Alice if I were you. Just make sure she's down at the office in a week for a full check.
Your father will be here any minute now. Could you set the table for dinner?
Well, sure, Mom.
I'll go see if Alice needs anything. I want to think about what Dr. Thomas said.
So do I. Get the facts, make your plan, and carry out the plan. What are the facts? Maybe I've been worried and trying too hard. What I'll have to do is go talk with the coach. It won't be easy. Find out just what I can do to make the first team and go on those trips. With the facts, I can make my plans, figure out what practice I need most, work on improving what's wrong instead of worrying about it. Then, carry out my plan, practice ball handling and shooting. Keep on trying. You know, there's a sense of achievement that comes from making one. Making it right. That's probably just as important as making the first team. And I'll have more fun, too. That's probably what Doc Thomas meant about perspective.
I think Dr. Thomas is right. About Alice, I mean.
Yeah. About me, too.
About you, son?
Yes, I didn't have a chance to tell you. Coach didn't put me on the first team. I'm not going to Middleton for the game next week.
Oh, I'm sorry. I know you wanted to very much.
Oh, that's all right, Mom. Maybe with a little more practice, I'll make the team. But I can see now what's more important in the game. I have a better perspective.
Film was really well done, Jingles. I realize now, I really realize that the only person that's allowing this abuse to go on is me. By keeping quiet about it, by letting Fletcher intimidate me, I'm allowing myself to be exploited, beat on, and abused. By never seeking out help, by letting him use fear to keep me silent, there was no way I'd ever escape the torture I go through every day. Now that I know this, the only thing between me and being free of this torment is my attitudes toward the situation. I must go to the school administrator. I must seek help from those who are around me and who can help me.
I'm very happy that you realize this, Lazar. It's a huge step, and one that shows how quickly you're growing up, maturing and able to handle difficult situations. I'm very proud of you, Lazar.
I also realized something else. While watching that movie, a weird thought crept into my mind. I don't know why, or where it came from, but for a moment I felt sorry for Fletcher.
You felt sorry for the person who's made your life horrible these last few weeks?
Maybe Fletcher is like he is because he has a bad attitude towards life too. I don't know what goes on in his home or in his daily life. He's so well liked in school, but you know, I've never heard anyone talk about actually going over to his house for a sleepover, a birthday party, or just to do homework. Maybe his home life isn't as great as the rest of his life, or what he pretends is the rest of his life. By picking on others, maybe he's mimicking what's happening to him in his home. Even if it's all true, there's nothing I can do for him. But maybe by going to the school administrator and telling her what Fletcher is doing to me, maybe she'll find out what's going on with him.
As I just said, Lazar, you're growing up incredibly fast. Someday, you're going to make a great king of the jungle. At times, we all lack the ability to handle the problems life throws at us. You have the ability of not only solving those problems, but seeing them from many sides as well. You'll make a proud parent someday, Lazar. Of that I have no doubt.
A person is only as good as those he has around him, Jingles. With your friendship, I'm able to be walked through many problems, but without you pointing the way, I don't think I'd do so well. Hey, what time is it, Jingles?
It's a little past 4. Why, Lazar?
The school administrator is usually in the building until 5 or 5:30. I really want to go see her right this minute, and explain what's been going on. Will you come with me right now, Jingles? You don't have to be home for anything today, do you?
Even if I did, I'd still go with you, Lazar. Some things are just too important to put off.
I don't know how I'll ever repay your kindness, Jingles. I really don't.
You don't have to, Lazar. With friendship, you do things because you want to, not because of what you'll get in return. Which reminds me. Bunsen! Bunsen! I don't believe him. He probably fell asleep on the project again. Yesterday, he walked around church class with the impression of a reel in the side of his face. He is just a limit sometimes. Bunsen, wake up! Finally! We're heading out for a bit. It's time to get the second reel on the view screen. Do you have the projector ready? You do? Great! Roll it, Bunsen. And thanks for staying today to work on this.
What's the film about today, Jingles? I watch your presentation every week. I'm sorry I'll miss this one.
We can watch it when we get back. The film is in your father's workshop, after all. It's a film for those who are out there, like you were today. People who have at times lacked self-confidence in their ability to talk to the people around them. At the conclusion of the movie, the protagonist finds out that sometimes all you need is a good friend or a close family member to point out the way in overcoming anxiety and fear.
A truer statement was never spoken, Jingles. You're living proof of that. Come on, let's go. I want to get to the school before the administrator goes home for the night.
Hello, Phil. How's everything?
Oh, okay, I guess, Dad.
Is your record transmitter and microphone coming?
Oh, all right, I guess. I know it isn't either. I can't figure out where to connect in the oscillator. I know I have to connect it into the amplifier, but where? It just doesn't fit in.
Why not a store and get more information? And by the way, how are things going in school?
Oh, okay, Dad. But school here isn't like it was back in Morristown.
Well, you know, son, maybe school is like your radio. This oscillator will do its work well. But as you said, you still have to fit it in so it can work with all the other parts.
I know what you're driving at, Dad, but I don't think I ever will fit in, not here. I'm different from the guys in this town.
Well, as far as that goes, Phil, everybody's different. That's what makes people interesting.
Maybe.
You know, when we moved here this summer, I had quite a time making friends in a new office where everybody else knew each other.
What'd you do, Dad?
Well, that's beside the point, son. What works for one doesn't necessarily work for another.
But I bet the other men didn't look at your clothes all the time.
Well, what makes you think they look at your clothes?
Oh, because the other fellas wear sweaters or just shirts, not a regular suit like mine.
Well, wear a sweater then. But clothes alone won't... Phil, what about the other fellows? What do they do? What do they like?
Gosh, Dad, I don't know. I never noticed. Only I know it's not radios.
Perhaps that's the reason you don't know. You don't notice what the others are interested in. Why not try to find out?
How, Dad?
Well, you might try watching, listening. Pick out the most popular boys and girls in school and keep an eye on them. Try to figure out why people like them. Not that you'll ever be just like any of them, but you might learn something. Well, see you at dinner.
What's the matter, Bob? Handle stuck?
Yeah, I can't get it open.
Oh, here, let me try. It's a trick to some of these. There.
Gee, thanks a lot, Chick.
Now, why didn't you think of that? Chick's always doing things for people. And it pays off in friends. Boy, that sure is one tough history assignment we have for Friday. Wish I could find some good outside reading material.
I found a swell book that covers everything Miss Carson wants us to know. It's called The Last Days of Monarchism by Henry Darrow. You can get it at the library.
I'm sure glad you told me about it. I'll get it this afternoon. Thanks a lot, Bob.
It's okay, Chick.
You dope. You knew about that book. You could have been the guy that helped a guy. There it is again. Even when you bump into people, they hardly know you're alive. You're alone, Bud. Alone in the crowd. But keep looking around. Try to find out what the score is. Look at Jack and Beezy over there. Girls seem to like them. Why? What's the angle? They do act kind of polite. At least they seat the girls and give their orders to the waiter. They aren't loud like some of the guys.
Cherry Coke, chocolate Coke, milkshake, and walnut. Double chocolate walnut. Okay, I got it. Whoa, jeez.
Excuse me, please. I've got the orders for my table. Just helping out during rush hour, Bob.
Gee, thanks a lot, Chick. That's swelling.
Okay, Bob. Hey, girl. There's Chick being helpful again.
I can't quite decide. Why don't you really have a white striped dress with those jeans? I love the way it's made.
Hey, don't tell me you two are still talking clothes. Was this a plot to squelch all males present? Phil, sit down. Make yourself at home. Chick, how are you? Pretty good. Come on, sit down. Hello, everybody. Okay. We men need some support to run down this girlish chatter. Hey, you want them all, don't you? Yo, Bob. The topic under discussion is the mixer next Friday night at school. You're going, aren't you? I don't know, Chick. I haven't got a date yet. Well, grab yourself a girl and come along. It's not going to be a real party. Just the class getting together for some fun. I'd like to, Chick. Yeah, I sure would. Well, this is it. Sink or swim. Oh, there's Mary Lou. She did come with another guy. Beezy Barnes. What now? They're breaking up the piano game. Look at Beezy, listening first to one boy, then another. It's funny the way people flock around a good listener. But what's this? They're talking about radios. That's right down your alley. They're asking Beezy about penny stock. You know the answer to that one. You could tell him. But she just to butt in. Beezy's still stuck. He really needs help. Help? That's it.
An offer of help. That's welcome anywhere. It's not hard to fit yourself into a conversation. A mention of a similar problem in connection with the record player. They're interested in that record player. They are interested in that shy guy. They know he's alive now. And, strangely enough, he's just discovered that they're alive. Of course they'd like to see the record player. Of course they'll come over. Tomorrow afternoon.
I just have to do a little more soldering and connect the oscillator into the amplifier and everything will fit in.
Oh, Phil, could you have it ready by next week and bring it over to my house?
I guess so.
Some of the gang's coming over Thursday night, and we could have a lot of fun with it. You will come, won't you?
Well, one shy guy is on his way. Not that his worries are over. He'll still have his moments of doubt, of hesitation, of fear that he might do something wrong. But he can face these problems now because he knows that he's not really different. And while he's discovered only a few of many ways to overcome shyness, he's discovered that it can be done. And that's the main thing, isn't it?
Lazar, I know I've told you in the past I don't believe in luck. I still don't. But, in an odd sort of way, your guardian angel must have been guiding your steps yesterday. I simply cannot believe how everything went down. All we did was leave here to go to school, talk to the administrator, and get Fletcher off your back. Yet, in the space of 5 minutes, everything we had planned proved a moot point. Somehow, the situation took care of itself. Now don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I'm glad what happened. But if it had to happen, it really couldn't have happened any better than it did.
Jingles, you said a mouthful right there. You're exactly right. I can't say I'm glad to have a black eye, but if that's the price I have to pay for being free from Fletcher, it's a small price to pay indeed.
All we did is walk in the school parking lot. Who knows why Fletcher was still hanging around long after school had let out? I'm sure the school administrator found out. It's none of our business, but wow! As soon as he saw you, I never saw anyone V-line like that. It's like a magnet, and he was pulled to you. Before I even knew it, you were on the ground. If the school administrator hadn't planned on going home early, she never would have seen it. What perfect timing! Just as Fletcher clocked you, she walks out of the school doors and sees the entire thing. After that, all we had to do is tell her what we had gone there to tell her. Since she saw Fletcher hit you with her own eyes, well, I don't think he'll be bothering you again.
I don't think so either, Jingles. Getting expelled from school and banned from school property forever, that should keep him away from me.
Even if it isn't, the school administrator called in the police liaison officer to our school. Did he ever put some fear into Fletcher? He looked scared to death. When the liaison officer told Fletcher that if anything ever at all happens to you again, Lazar, they are going to Fletcher's house first. If they learn that he had anything to do with it, next time he's going to juvenile hall. It's just amazing, Lazar. Absolutely amazing. How everything happened. I just can't get over it. I know I've said this before, but your guardian angel was watching over you yesterday. He or she really was.
Ta-da!
Oh no. Not again, Lazar. Why are you dressed in your superhero costume again? You don't need to be invisible or able to fly. You don't need superpowers to handle life's problems. You have more already than any comic book character ever had.
I know that, Jingles. I'll never forget it either.
Then why the costume, Lazar?
Because there is one more enemy to slay out there, Jingles. A tall, fearsome enemy that I must conquer at all costs.
I'm afraid to ask. Who is the enemy?
That tree I fell off last year. It haunts me, Jingles. It haunts me. I must climb to the top once more, to show this tree that is no match for the king of the jungle.
Everything is going along so nicely. Don't ruin it with this kind of craziness.
Craziness to one, but a pressure of conscience for another. I must show this tree who's boss. Now I'm off.
Well, not to worry, kids. Lazar is a smart lion, but I know someone else who is even smarter. His mother. She knew this would eventually happen, so she put a tall gate around that tree. Lazar has no chance of ever climbing that tree again.
you.